and welcome to the second episode of Live from Muppet Land, the podcast where stuff happens. Last episode was an interview, and this episode we're talking about, quite literally, a random piece of Muppet information. Today I am joined by a very special guest who can unmute and come on now.
Hello, hello.
Hello, this is Princess Muppet.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here.
How does it feel to be on the second episode?
I'm very honored you asked me to do this because I was like, ooh, I feel so special.
Feel so special. So, last time we started with an hour-long interview. That's not happening. Today, before we get into our main piece of information we're talking about, how about the news? Shall we? Hold on. Oh, I love that stupid Muppet news flash thing. It's so great. So, 3 quick news stories. One a little long.
Yes.
One, as of, I believe, 2 days ago, Muppets Mayhem started filming.
Yes, I saw that. Oh my gosh.
How excited are you for Muppets Mayhem, personally?
I'm so freaking excited to see the Electric Mayhem have their moment in the spotlight. I think they have so much potential to be the main stars, so I'm so excited.
Yes. Me too. I'm just excited. I'm glad we get a lot of Kermit and Piggy and the rest of them, and I love those characters.
Yeah.
But you can still hear me, correct?
Yes.
All right. I was just testing out something.
It fades in and out a little bit, but I can pretty much hear you.
Yeah, it's...
Gotta love technology.
That'll be fun in editing. Which there is none for this show. But anyway, no, I'm excited. I hope it's good.
Yes, same.
I hope it's good. And I know they said there's going to be a lot of music industry cameos. I just hope that doesn't overdo it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, same. But I have... Yeah, sorry. You go first. You go first, sorry.
Some Muppet projects have a lot of random cameos that don't really make any sense. What we're talking about. Anything else to add?
Oh, I was just going to say, I have hope, though, because Muppets Haunted Mansion was really, really good.
It was.
I see them going in the right direction. So I'm like, hopefully this is a step forward in the right direction.
Yeah. So, our second news story, and something I don't want to draw upon, is that recently it was announced that Twitter has a new owner. I'm only bringing this up. There was a bit of a panic in the Muppet Twitter community for a day.
Yeah.
People, immediately, panicked, I think.
I noticed that, yeah.
People started creating counter social accounts, and then everybody was like, no, that's bad. That's worse.
Gosh.
And I'm staying here for now. I don't plan to leave. That being said, you can follow me on Instagram. It's the same handle I have on Twitter. I don't plan on leaving for now, but I just thought I would mention the buyout just because I know it's on people's mind. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And our final news story is really exciting. This Saturday at 8 p.m. is the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. The first Muppet Fan Hall of Fame. Very quickly, I would like to very, very briefly, shout out the inductees. We have celebrity inductees, Yvette Nicole Brown and Bobby Moynihan, who've both worked with the Muppets a few times. Professional inductees, Matt Vogel and Dave Goelz, who we'll get to see a lot of Dave Goelz later in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And last but certainly not least, the general inductees, Ryan Dozier, J.D. Hansel, Chris Migliano, Jared Fairclough, Joshua Gillespie, Danny Horn, Ryan Rowe, and Joe Hennis. Did I get them all? I think I got them all. I will be there this Saturday. I'll be hosting. Somebody's got to do it, you know?
Heck yeah.
Somebody's got to do it. We got some great people giving induction speeches. Should be fun. So if you're, to all of our listeners, either live or if you're listening to this before the stream, please come out. It should be a really fun night. Any thoughts on the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were still going. No, that's like so exciting. Like I can't wait because like I know the Muppet Twitter Awards were so much fun, so I know this is going to be just as fun as well.
Yes, you were nominated for 3. Was it?
I know. Yes, I was. I lost all 3, but it's okay.
Yeah, no. Hey,
I'm just kidding.
I lost my one award I was nominated for.
I like to joke about it. I always joke with my mom. I'm like, remember when I lost all 3 awards? But it's a joke.
It's great. So, now that is there any other Muppet news stories you want to talk about? Anything in the last couple months that's...
I don't know. I think you covered the main thing, especially with the Electric Mayhem show and everything.
Yeah. Oh, one question. One more
yes.
news that I'm going to ask all of my guests from now on.
Oh, no. I think I know what this is. Okay.
Who plays Jim in the biopic?
I knew that was coming. My aunt, like, I have 2 answers.
Okay.
Of people that I think could work. They're kind of far-fetched a little bit. But, like, the first person is because I saw a picture of him where he looked like Jim during his timepiece era.
All right.
Matthew Lewis, who played Neville in Harry Potter. I know that sounds crazy, but when you see the side-by-side, it's like, it works, I think.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
And you said you had 2. What was the other?
It's another one that's kind of far-fetched, but maybe Andrew Garfield. Because
he can sing.
Yeah, I know he can sing.
Before Tick Tick Boom, who knows if he's secretly a puppeteer as well?
Yeah, true. I say him mostly because like I know he doesn't have 100% like the same look as Jim, kind of, but he's so passionate when he plays roles that were real human beings, and he gets so into it, and he's so passionate about paying tribute to these people, like when he played Jonathan Larson. So I feel like he would do Jim justice.
For those of you who haven't seen Tick Tick Boom, it is absolutely. I think it's the best musical theater movie I've ever seen.
It's so good.
It's very, very good. But we're not here to talk about Tick Tick Boom. Though, go see it. It's great.
We're not? What?
So, this is what I like to call a random episode.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course of 2 hours, I put together a list of practically every Muppet thing that I can get my hands on.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that's available on Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple, HBO Max, and
heck yeah,
available on YouTube. It's everything from every episode of The Muppet Show to the 2 pilots for the unpicked up Little Mermaid series Jim Henson worked in 1990.
Dang, you covering all grounds.
all grounds. And
it's all at your disposal.
I picked 4 at random. I put everything into a random item generator.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta tell you, I picked these 4, and I'm like, I knew exactly what was gonna win. So, those of you who know, the 4 things were a random episode of Earth to Ned, a random episode of Dinosaurs, the first episode of Dark Crystal, the series, and what we're talking about today.
Yes.
We all immediately knew what was going to win.
Yeah, true. I saw that and I was like, I have a feeling.
And what are we talking about today?
Muppets from Space.
Muppets from Space. The 6th theatrically released Muppet film, released in 1990.
99, right?
1999. Why did I say 90? That's 1999. This was the 3rd Muppet film without Jim Henson.
Mm-hmm.
It was also the last Muppet film written by Jerry Jewell.
Yes.
I should state that this movie was directed by Tim Hill and written by Jerry Jewell, Joseph Mazzarino, and Ken Kaufman.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Mazzarino, of course, known for being a puppeteer as well.
Yes.
So, I kind of... First, before we get into like a deep dive in this movie, when was the first time you saw this film? Do you remember?
You know, I think I saw snippets of it like years ago, but my memory of it was so faint that like I rewatched it again a couple months ago and I was like, this is like I'm watching it for the first time. So I honestly don't remember the first time I watched it.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of the Muppet movies. I think this and Caper were the two I watched the most as a kid.
Ooh.
And I watched this a lot. Another thing I watched a lot, and then we might talk about it again later, maybe not. There was on the DVD for this movie in the original like 1999 pressing of the DVD.
Yeah.
There is commentary. I don't know if you've ever seen this.
Oh no, but that sounds delightful.
It's commentary of with Tim Hale, Steve Whitmire, and Dave Goelz.
Oh man, I can only imagine.
Steve's character is Kermit and Rizzo, and Dave is in character as Gonzo.
Oh my goodness, I need this right now. I need to see it.
It's on the original DVD release, and I think maybe the updated Blu-ray.
I'm gonna go to every half-price books I know and try to find it.
It is hysterical. Parts of it I think are better than the movie itself.
That's so genius. I'm so glad they did it in character. That's fun.
And I think I haven't seen it, but I believe there's a Muppet Treasure Island thing that's exactly the same.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that.
So yeah, this was like the movie I watched the most, along with The Great Muppet Caper.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what is your general feeling on this film? We'll go into details, but like,
I personally really like this film. I think it's really funny, but I also think it was a very interesting direction for them to take.
yeah.
So I see why a lot of people are more like, when it comes to this film per se, because this came after, Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol, which are very iconic.
Yeah.
And this one kind of gets swept under the rug, but I still find it super funny and super fun.
I honestly think it's the most obscure Muppet movie.
Yeah.
Because like Christmas Carol and Treasure Island are both based on very, very popular books and kind of ingrained in the minds of 90s kids.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The original trilogy are Jim, and the Disney duology had the Disney marketing budget.
Yeah, true.
So, this movie is weird because it's not even on Disney Plus, right? Because Sony owns it and it's on HBO.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max, yeah.
And along with Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah.
And I don't know, parts of this movie I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Other parts of it, I think some of the dialogue has aged more poorly than other Muppet movies.
Yeah, now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's true.
A lot of Piggy's subplot.
Yeah.
And there's one joke that I'll bring up when we go through like beat by beat this movie. By the way, editor's note: how long do you have? Because is there a time you got to be out of here by?
Nah, I'm good. I'm just chilling at home.
That's cool. Anyway, so let's start. So this movie starts with the weirdest scene.
Oh yeah.
It's so, the thing that's weird about it is that it's so serious, except for that umbrella joke.
That's true.
Except for that umbrella joke. It is.
It's so serious, yet I laugh like almost the entire time, and I'm like, why am I laughing at this?
Yeah, no offense, the Muppets haven't really had too many references to religion over the years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, look at them getting all biblical here.
Yeah, like obviously they do there's Christmas specials, which is tied to a religion, but there's never been like a Muppet retelling of the story of Christ or something like that.
Yeah. Wow, that'd be wild.
Oh, I don't even want to think of that. I don't want to think of that, or what kind of outrage it would cause.
Wow.
I lie. There has been a Sesame Street version of the story.
That makes sense, though. I kind of get that.
Right. That was in, I think, Elmo's Christmas Letters to Santa.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly where it was from.
Happy Holiday. And it's like a Prairie Dawn pageant. That's a whole different special.
Yes, definitely. Sesame Street has a little more leeway there.
Right. Like Sesame Street teaches, the holidays and stuff. And also that same special covered like Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about Noah briefly. That guy who plays Noah has an Oscar.
Oh my god.
So this is, again, the cameos in this movie are so weird.
They were weird. It was a weird selection of cameos.
Because that was F. Murray Abraham who played Salvati in Amadeus.
That's just wild.
There,
that went over my head totally. Like,
yeah,
didn't notice that at all.
No, because sometimes a Muppet movie cameo is like, oh, that's obviously Bob Hope giving the ice cream, but then it's something like they're playing a role. You know what I mean? Like, that Noah could have been anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
There are some weirder cameos.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just quickly go over the cameos and then come back to the movie.
Oh, heck yeah.
So, Rob Schneider. Why? Why is Bruce Bigelow male gigolo in this movie?
Oh my god.
Why?
So many questions.
He plays, for those of you he plays the TV producer. Mania. And he's given like high billing. Like there's a list. I'm on Wikipedia and like it's separated into human cast, Muppet performers, and cameos. And he and a couple other people who should be in the cameo section are part of the cast.
Oh. And
so the other, anything to say about Rob Schneider?
I mean, I'm a fan of him.
In this movie. The general at Covenant is Pat Hignall, who played Commissioner Gordon in all 4 pre-Dark Knight Batman movies.
Man, I haven't watched those in a long time. I forgot about that.
Audie McDowell is in this movie. She plays Shelley Snipes.
Yes.
So when I was watching this last night, I was like, I thought it was Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
I can see that confusion there. They have similar vibes.
Yeah. It's weird that like this Audie McDowell. Why? Like so many of these are just why. I think David Arquette is in this movie.
Yeah, he did this, and wasn't it the other which Christmas special was it?
Oh God, David Arquette was in. He played the angel.
Yes.
Muppets. Very Merry.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, my brain could not process that. It was like, what's the name? Like I was seeing it, but I couldn't say it.
He is the rat scientist, and we're going to talk about that rat scene in detail later.
Oh yeah, what a jump in characters too. Like 2 different cameos, and they're both so different.
Like, and I don't even know what he would have been famous for at the time.
Probably Scream.
Scream, yeah. Was Scream the same year?
I think Scream was earlier.
Was Scream? I've never seen Scream. I'm sure it's good.
It's delightful.
Okay. He was same year this movie came out. He was in Never Been Kissed.
Oh my!
And a year later, he'd be in Scream 3. By 2000, they already had 3 of those.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah. All right. Josh Charles is one of the agents. I don't really know if he's a celebrity, but he's listed Cameo. Kathy Griffin.
That one always throws me for a loop because sometimes I don't it doesn't click that it's her until she starts speaking, and then I'm like, oh, Kathy.
No offense, she got older really quickly, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like she looks very different now than she did in 1999, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, her cameo is weird too. Because she's like trying to marry Animal, I think.
Like at the very end, yeah. She's like, "You're just like the rest of them. Call me."
Then I'm skipping this one because we have so much to talk about. All right, then it's Ray Liotta is the secure. He's great. I love him in that role so much. There's not much to say about it. It's just so stupid, and the way he goes bye-bye
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's the best part.
That's true. That whole scene is so funny.
All right, we're nearing the end of the list, but these two, well, technically it's three, but they're really two.
Mm-hmm.
The weirdest cameos, and I think any Muppet movie, are these next two.
Okay.
First off, 2 and 1, Joshua Jackson and Katie Holmes in character.
Oh yeah.
They're Dawson Creek characters. What?
Weren't they like supposedly like filming kind of like either next door, like on the same lot or something? I think I read that somewhere, and that's why they came over and filmed.
I can't find that on Wikipedia. Maybe Muppet Wiki might be.
I think I read that somewhere. Don't quote me on it,
I'm
but
not,
I think I read that somewhere.
Even so, okay, them having a cameo is fine, but them having them in character,
Yeah,
characters from Dawson's Creek,
that was an interesting choice.
that was maybe the weirdest cameo, and also like the most outdated cameo and the most dated cameo of any Muppet movie.
Yeah, because I mean, I wouldn't have gotten that.
No,
Like I knew kind of, but I was like, huh?
the only thing I know Dawson's Creek from is that is the most streamed version of Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus on Apple Music.
Oh my goodness.
It's the version from the Dawson's Creek soundtrack. That's the only thing I know about Dawson's Creek.
It is a bop.
And I saved the weirdest cameo for last, or maybe the best.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk Hogan!
Oh my goodness.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan is in this movie.
That one was a choice. That was an interesting cameo. Every time he popped up, I was like, what?
And I do think that he was probably the most famous person at the time in this movie. Like,
yeah, in that era.
Of that era. And even he was like more of an 80s. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, this was in the short period of time where he was a villain.
Oh.
Because, like, I don't watch wrestling, but my father really likes wrestling. And so basically, certain wrestlers over periods of time will, like, they'll be a hero for a while and then transition to being.
Yeah, I noticed that. I grew up watching a lot of wrestling because my dad was also into wrestling and he was friends with a wrestler, but I won't get into that. But
that's more interesting than the stuff.
I mean, I can name drop, but
go ahead. You have my permission.
No, my dad used to be best friends with Shawn Michaels.
I don't know who that is, but
if you're into wrestling, the people listening will know. And like I grew up like visiting his house and like knowing him a little bit.
That's cool.
That's my sidebar for this episode. Thank you.
All right. Before we continue back to the plot synopsis, one more thing I want to bring up. This movie was filmed simultaneously with Elmo's Adventures in Grouchland.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were both released in 1999, and they were both filmed, I think, on the same backlot at the same time.
That's true. I think I read that.
No, it's on Wikipedia. Like, they literally...
Oh, okay, then correct. I did read that.
That is not something I'm half remembering. That is a fact.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Which is weird. And I think they're both not seen as great movies overall. Like, generally speaking. Obviously, opinions are opinions. And I think it's interesting that they were made at the exact same time with the exact same people.
Yeah, that is interesting.
All right, back to the plot of the film. So Gonzo wakes up.
From his nightmare.
From his nightmare. And he murders Rizzo.
He goes flying out the window.
Rizzo, I love Rizzo so much. And I think one of my favorite is that high-pitched he can do sometimes.
Yes.
And Rizzo, is that you out hanging out the window? No, it's Santa Claus. I forgot.
He does like a scream in that part too that sounds just like Wembley though, and it trips me out every time.
Yeah, if you like take a little Brooklyn, if you give Wembley a Brooklyn accent, you have Rizzo.
Yeah, so true.
And so I think it's weird. Then we get to absolutely my favorite part of this movie, or just the whole concept. I love the Muppet House so much.
Yes. I want to live there.
I love the opening shot of the sequence with Brick House, where you see everybody's alarm clocks and you see Bunsen and Beaker with the science one, and Sam Eagle's got the American flag or American, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And Williams just smashes his. And all the Muppets get ready, and it's also just like, oh, it was so good seeing all of them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All
It's
the
fun to see them all just like being themselves and like living life, you know?
Johnny, Fiona, and Sal were there. And
Yes.
sweet Sam doing the chicken aerobics in the
Yes, the aerobics.
and Miss Piggy slamming Bean Bunny with the door.
Poor Bean.
Poor Bean. And the I don't know why, but the part of the movie that I had the most visual like reaction was when Floyd spoke for like 30 seconds, and I think I was just happy to hear Jerry Nelson.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Who's now that I say that out loud, Jerry's barely in this movie.
That's true. You know, same. Now that you're saying it out loud.
Cause like none of his characters get to go on the adventure. Like
Yeah.
Floyd's barely in the movie. It's not like Lou Zealand or Strangeberg are around. He doesn't really do a lot of anything Muppet. Like he plays Gonzo's, I'm gonna say like dad or whatever at the end, and he's like Floyd for a little bit and like Statler and Waldorf, but like, he's really not in this movie.
Now that you say it, yeah, I'm like processing that and I'm like, that is so true.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is, because like I love Jerry and like you don't.
Jerry's a delight.
Yeah, Jerry's a delight. But anyway, that scene caps off so perfectly with one of my favorite lines. Change of things today, and for breakfast we will be having bologna sandwiches, with no bread.
That whole scene with Pepe in the kitchen and him being like, when will you fix the oven?
I think this is the movie that made Pepe Pepe.
Oh, definitely.
Because Muppets Tonight, he was very different. If you go back, he was with Seymour, and he was like a weird comedy duo thing. And
yeah, that's true.
This is the movie that turns Pepe into Pepe.
And I'm so grateful because I love Pepe. I think he's the funniest Muppet.
I love Pepe so much.
I'm so sorry, Fozzie. I know you're brokenhearted to hear me say that, but I think Pepe's the funniest Muppet.
No, Fozzie's funny, but not funny on purpose.
Exactly. Fozzie's funny in his own way.
So then Gonzo sees the thing in the cereal.
Yes.
Which is dumb, but I love it.
Me too.
And then we get, all right, a good thing and a bad thing. We get Bobo the Bear, who is just absolutely a delight in this movie.
He's so precious. Oh. I wish they would like let him do more though than just be like the evil guy's like assistant.
I know why it's like. Well, in Muppets, I love his role in Muppets Tonight as the doorman.
Yeah, that's true.
But like you're right, in Muppets 2011 and this movie, he's the evil guy assistant. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same character twice.
Yeah, maybe when Covenant broke up, that's the job he got.
Yeah, true. Or protects Richmond.
But then we get Jeffrey Tambor. Yeah, Jeffrey Tambor. We'll not talk about his personal life, but in the movie, he's there.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Throat is weird stuff.
Oh, you're fine. There's so much stuff in the air right now. Spring,
and yeah. And so, skipping around a bit, I love the shot of Kermit painting the house because Animal bit one of the house painters.
Yes. Poor Kermit. He's like,
And then Gonzo gets struck by lightning.
Oh, yeah.
And sees let's be honest, a little offensive space fish.
Yeah.
I forgot they used reggae accents, like a Jamaican.
Yeah, that was a weird choice.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a play on like, I don't know, but it was I don't know where I was going with that, but like it's not a good play on anything. Like it's just.
Yeah. There's a lot of maybe it's because the other thing about this movie is, I want to bring this up very briefly. There's a lot of sci-fi references in this movie, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bravely Go Where No Man Has Gone Before. The Star Trek theme plays at some point.
Oh yeah. There's the Independence Day reference too.
Stupid Independence Day reference.
I love Independence Day. I'm sorry.
I love that.
Okay.
That. The one thing I think is funny is that there's at least in the actual movie, there's no references to Star Wars.
True. I'm a huge Star Wars like diehard fan, but I get that. Yeah.
There's a reference to it in the DVD commentary.
Uh...
They joke, skipping ahead a bit, they joke that the fan that Rizzo and Pepe used to trick Gonzo to building the jacuzzi is the same fan they used to modulate Darth Vader's voice. And they
Oh my gosh, I love that so much.
Anyway, so Gonzo gets struck with the lightning, and then we get the Muppets gambling for some reason.
Oh my gosh, yeah, like playing poker.
Pepe, Rizzo, and Clifford, who's in this movie a lot. They give Kevin Clash a lot to do, but not Jerry.
That's true, yeah.
But I guess Kevin Clash was on set because obviously they were filming Elmo and Grouchland at the same time.
Yeah, so it's interesting that Clifford had so much screen time.
But even, well, he didn't get to go on the big adventure though, so
true.
Really, like the Muppet House. But even then, like, I don't know. But anyway, so then Rizzo loses the game thanks to Gonzo, and he takes the lawnmower, and he does the "I am here" in the lawn, and
that scene of him driving the lawnmower just cracks me up. There's something about him sitting on that lawnmower that just makes me laugh.
Yeah, well, my favorite part of the movie comes next. When they're like, Gonzo is doing whatever he hears from the voices in his head, and then Pepe has that moment like, and then they force him to build the jacuzzi.
Oh yeah, that is genius.
Like, that is the funniest thing in this movie. Like 100% the funniest thing in this movie, until the next funniest thing in this movie. So it's at the any thoughts on that party scene?
Oh man, I love that, like, we get to, see them just like living life, having fun at a party. Yeah. But I also think it's kind of hilarious when Rizzo's like, we have to tell him, and Pepe's like, if you tell him, like, he gets so angry.
That's great. The best line, I think the best part of any Muppet movie is Johnny saying to Sal, "There's no cannolis here."
And oh my gosh, that's right.
And then Sal's like, "Yeah, but this cake is good." And Johnny's like, "Gonzo." And Gonzo's like, "Hey, God, who cut this cake?" And then you just hear Sal go, "Hey, who cut this cake?" And it's so funny.
I love them. Oh my God. I was so happy they made it come back in Muppets Haunted Mansion because they're such a delight.
Brian Henson and Bill Beretta together make one of the they are
such a great duo.
They are as close to Jim and Frank levels of comedy as anybody will ever get.
Yes.
Like, they are just so funny as Johnny and Sal or Pepe and Seymour or whatever it is. They're just so good. Brian Henson's such a good puppeteer. I know he's running a whole company now, and he's got Earth to Net and adult live shows to worry about, but I hope he does more cameo work with the Muppets, because
I know
hearing him get Salmonella back was great.
Exactly. Yes.
And so then we get introduced to Shelley Duvall. Not Shelley Duvall. Shelley. Sorry. Why did I mix up Shelley Duvall and Honey McDowell? But Muppets are all watching TV together, which again is adorable. And Gonzo's wearing this like tinfoil suit that Bunsen and Beaker put him in, and he picks up the radio signal and he goes down to the
TV station,
and Miss Piggy's there because reasons, right? And then Gonzo crashes into the TV station, and all the Muppets are
watching,
and Kermit comes into the room, and this is the only line of dialogue I wrote down because I thought it was great. This is the line Kermit says, "I wish I could find my pants."
Oh yeah.
It's like a very, I don't know, you know what,
like I mean? he's been searching for his pants all his life.
Wish I could. And then when Gonzo starts to talk, Rizzo's like, "All right, do you want to drive down now or wait for the commercial?"
Oh my gosh.
The rest of this podcast is just going to be me and you quoting this movie, correct?
Okay, but literally though. There's so many good one-liners.
and then they get to Rizzo and Kermit get to the TV station, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Gonzo says something that I kind of want to unpack for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I've always had alien tendencies. I know. And like, I feel like that's a gay metaphor, right? Or
Oh.
like the line, I've always had gay tendencies. Or like, I guess I've always known that, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I didn't think about it that way.
that's what and I don't want to say it was a joke. I think it was a joke.
Yeah.
Which is not. 1999 was a different time.
It definitely was, unfortunately.
22 years ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But 1999 was a different time, and I hate that it was probably a gay joke or a gay metaphor joke, but
Yeah. I didn't think of it that way, though, until you said that, but now I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it was what it was. So anyway, then they get caught by Covenant.
Oh, gosh. That's true, yeah.
I too, saying that they're the organization against alien abuse.
And yet, they seem to just want to abuse aliens.
Well, then they get abused by Piggy, so.
Yeah.
And then, you find out Gonzo's been kidnapped, and what do you think about that scene where Jeffrey Tambor does unspeakable thing to Gonzo's nose?
That scene I was like, his poor nose. But also, I'm like, at the same time, his nose is fascinating.
It is fascinating.
But also, don't break it, my gosh.
So Kermit comes back to the house, and there's a bunch of Gonzo fanatics at his house. And
oh yeah, the Gonzo fans.
The only thing I need to say about that is, whoever decided it was a good idea to make a Gonzo sculpture out of mashed potatoes, why?
That was like a big question. Why? Because what made you want to do that specifically?
I asked that in twofold. One, in a universe decision, like what sane person, right? And one has okay, what writer? Was that Jerry Jules' idea?
I know.
Reno's idea? Who can I blame for this?
Who thought, what would be great for this scene? Mashed potato Gonzo.
Alright, so then we get the Hulk Hogan cameo.
Oh my. What a journey.
I'm going to take a sip of a beverage to talk.
Absolutely, go for it. Oh yes, the Hulk Hogan cameo. Which leads, yes.
We get to meet the Rat Gang.
Ah, yes.
And I don't remember all their names. I know Bubba is there.
Yeah.
And there's there's the guy with the bird.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy who talks really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Again, I love that scene. I think that's another one of my favorite scenes in this movie.
That is a great scene. I love how he's scared of them at first, but then they're like, "Hey man, how you doing?"
Yeah. Again, they gotta bring Bubba back. They gave Bill Beretta so many great original characters.
They did.
And then nowadays he's just occasionally Pepe and then Rolf.
Which is so sad to me because I love Bill.
I just realized something.
What?
Not in this movie.
Oh yeah, he's in the opening scene in the house.
Yes, but he doesn't get a line, I don't think.
Yeah, no, he doesn't really have a line, but I think he wasn't in Christmas Carol or Treasure Island either because they were still not sure how to deal with Ralph after Jim.
Were they still not sure with him by 99?
I think so. I'm not sure, unless he did something in Muppets Tonight, but it's been so long since I've seen Muppets Tonight.
Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah,
but that's disappointing because Ralph is one of my favorites.
So then Miss Piggy tells them very cheerily that Gonzo has been kidnapped.
Oh, yeah.
So Kermit, Fozzie, Pepe, and her, along with the animal, go to get them. They have three things, and I want to talk about these three things.
Yes.
The rubber ducky that temporarily that has the invisibility spray.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that because you get a callback to the Muppet movie in that scene.
Yeah.
You picked up on, and for our listeners, Beaker goes, sadly temporary, just like he did about the growthing pills in the first Muppet movie, which I thought was I don't know if that was purposeful.
I think it was.
Because I think Jerry Jewell wrote the original Muppet movie, so I think it had to be.
Every time they throw in something like that in one of the newer ones, it's like, yeah, it's definitely purposeful. That's for us, the Muppet diehard fans.
That was really fun. Then we have the door in a jar.
Door in a jar.
Half of this movie is just really dumb.
It's just chaos.
And then the plot gas. I'm sorry, I mean the mind control gas.
Yes.
The plot hole gas. Because it's primarily just to fix plot holes. Then there's that great. Then they get on the bus to go, and there's that great speech where Kermit's like, "We're not going to leave anybody." And then you can say it. And
then they leave Bunsen and Beaker at the gas station.
It's so yeah.
And they're like standing there with all their snacks, and he's like, "You want one?
You want a cheese?"
That's it. Yes, I couldn't remember the snack.
Oh, that is such a good joke. That is such a good
Poor
joke.
babies getting left at the gas station. My heart.
So then we get the rat montage, the maze, or I think that montage is so great with like the centrifuge and the rat poison and cheese stuff. It's all great.
Rizzo really shines in that scene.
Yeah, and then eventually they break out, kind of skipping around.
Yeah, and you're hitting all the good main points.
Yeah. And then some point in the story, Gonzo gets a sandwich.
Oh yeah, the sandwich! I had forgotten about the sandwich when I rewatched it, and I was like, "Oh right,
the sandwich." How could you forget about the sandwich?
I know. How could I forget about the sandwich?
How could you? The sandwich played by, I believe that's Brian.
Oh. I hear it now.
Yeah.
I wasn't like thinking about it when I was rewatching it, but I'm like, no, now that you say that.
I think it's Brian, and Gonzo's like afraid to eat it at the end. And
I would be too.
Yeah. And then they strap Gonzo up for his brain thingy.
Oh yeah, his brain removal.
His brain removal. Real quick, I looked at my notes and I forgot to mention that when Piggy and the agent fight, they just break random scenery for no reason. Anyway, so
the chaos.
My favorite part about then we get Dr. Phil Van Neuter.
Oh my goodness, that name.
Yeah, that is his.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, Dr. Phil started as Muppets Tonight. It was like Tales from the Crypt mixed with like a TBS show about medical files or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was weird.
I gotta rewatch Muppets Tonight. I need Disney Plus to put it on or something because it's been so long since I've seen it.
It's on YouTube. It's all on YouTube.
Is it all on YouTube?
Yeah, all 20.
Where have I been?
All 20 episodes are on YouTube. There's some weird episodes of Muppets Tonight. Muppets Tonight also, like, for a show that's largely forgotten, the guest stars are Billy Crystal, Prince, Garth Brooks, Whoopi Goldberg. Like,
huge names.
It's huge names. John Goodman, Jason Alexander. A clip of Muppets Tonight recently went kind of viral for a sad reason. It was a cameo by Gilbert Godfrey.
Yes, the one where he meets Kermit.
Which is
such a good cameo.
So good. I'm so glad Gilbert worked with the Muppets a few times.
I know.
Rest in peace. Gilbert Godfrey was also.
Amen.
He was also on Sesame Street once.
Yes.
He voiced the Affleck Duck, which the original commercials were performed by the Jim Henson Company.
Fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day. So Gonzo goes to get his brain removed.
Oh.
Back to this movie.
I know, right?
Dr. Phil Van Neuter, he's like doing all this stuff and he's asking all these questions like this little nose thing. Does it ever ache or pain or like, please let me know if you're in any pain. I would love to know what you're feeling.
And he's like,
My favorite, I think I wrote it down, was that Gonzo asked if it was covered by his HMO.
Yes.
It was!
My mom and I lose it every time that part happens because we're like, you're about to lose your brain, but he's like, let me check.
Let me check. And then we get I posted this clip a little while ago where like Rizzo falls down and he starts chewing through the bars or whatever, and Dr. Van Uter is like, he lifts the thing up and Rizzo just goes, "Do you mind?" And he puts the thing down and then he's like, "Oh my lord!"
Oh yeah.
And then all the rats come out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, that's true. And they're like, hey. Like they come to save the day. I love it so much.
And meanwhile, Kermit, Piggy, Fozzie, and Gonzo have used the invisibility spray to sneak into the facility.
I gotta say, them sneaking into the facility with all of those 3 things is my favorite part of the movie.
I love, because I love how everybody kind of has a different thing they do. There's a different joke with everybody in the invisibility spray.
Yes, and like Pepe in the little ballerina tutu kills me every time.
He's
just so cute. And then he's like, I should go change.
He's having such a fun time. He doesn't care.
He doesn't. What a king.
I love Fozzie washing his hands.
Oh my gosh, me, because I'm a germophobic. He's like, no exceptions.
Ma Bear. See, you could have had a flashback of Jerry Nelson as Ma Bear.
Yes.
And then Piggy eating the bag of chips. It's a little, but then Animal runs off with Kathy Griffin.
Oh yeah.
Animal,
it was like, they were like, we need a reason to get Animal out because Animal's too crazy.
Right. And then they pretend to be doctors.
That is my favorite part. Like that scene right there where they're like, doctor. I lose my mind every time that scene comes on.
It's hysterical.
It's so funny.
Generally hysterical. And so they do all that, and then Gonzo's free, and they kind of do this chase, and then they bring back the door in the jar.
Oh man, the door in the jar. And it's all tiny.
It's a tiny door, and Pepe runs in, and the most iconic Pepe moment happens where Rizzo's like, "That little shrimp," and then,
I
am a king prawn.
What a king.
What a prawn. Then they all get to the bus, and Ray Liotta waves bye-bye to them again, and then he's like, "What's going on?"
Oh, I know. He's like, wait.
Then they all drive to the beach, and Jeffrey Tambor gets fired, and Jeffrey Tambor asks for like some super specific thing, and then he just like, the big gun. It's the big gun.
Oh yeah.
And they all drive to the beach, and then the movie just keeps happening.
Yeah, with all of the like hippies and people ready for the aliens.
Yeah. Again, this is where we get Shelley Duvall. Damn it, I did it again.
Yeah, this is when Steve has his cameo too.
Audie McDowell pops up. Oh wait, yeah, Steve has his cameo.
Steve Whitmire, yeah.
As Rainbow.
Yeah, I didn't know he had a name.
Well, no, because
I was just like, he's the hippie in the van.
Yeah, because you see him in the van, and then Bunsen says, "Thank you, Rainbow."
That's right, he does. Wow, that went over my head. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I remember watching that the first time. I went, it's Steve. And my mom was like, how can you notice him so easily? And I'm like, you don't understand.
And we get Steve's cameo, followed immediately by Scooter's cameo, selling t-shirts.
Yes, Scooter. Richard's brother played him in that, didn't he?
No, I think it was Dave Rudman. No, was
really?
It?
I read it. I thought I read on Wikipedia that his brother came in and did Scooter's line.
Adam Hunt was Scooter. You're right.
Haha.
Scooter. And John Henson was Sweetums at this point. John Henson.
Oh yeah.
Sweetums. And I also have to say that obviously you saw Steve as a hippie.
Yes.
At the party. But also at that hippie party was a couple other people. So John Kennedy, who was a Muppet performer around this time, he was playing Dr. Teeth for a little bit. He is at that party, right?
Oh.
Drew Massey, who was another puppeteer producer for the Jim Henson Company at the time, is at that party. And Boyd, who's Boyd? I'm going to find people on Wikipedia here. But the one I immediately recognize, and I don't know, when I say it, you might. Peter Lentz.
Yes.
Is a hippie a very prominent hippie at that party.
I love when the puppeteers make cameos.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite things. It makes my heart so happy.
It's so good. I think the best puppeteer cameo is obviously Jerry and Muppet Caper, but
oh yeah, that's such a sweet one.
But Peter in this movie is one of my favorites.
I'm a little biased. I like Jim's cameo in Caper, but you know.
Jim is it Carly Wilcox? It's one of the builders is with Jim and Caper, I think.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I think it's Carly Wilcox, but don't quote me on that.
That's such a funny scene of Gonzo taking his picture, but
and then we get to a sad Gonzo scene as he starts to call it off. But we also get, I keep calling her Shelley Duvall, and I apologize for dropping a minor swear earlier. Andy McDowell, not Audie McDowell. I'm bad with this lady's name. I feel Andy McDowell, if you're listening, which I know you're not, I apologize. We get the super weird in character Dawson's Creek cameo.
Yeah.
Clifford, and how old is that girl supposed to be?
Oh, I don't know.
So, because isn't she a teenager on television?
I think so.
She's 21 at the time.
Mm.
So, if she was just playing herself, then Clifford and Pepe hitting on her wouldn't be too weird.
Yeah. That is weird.
I don't know how old her character in Dawson's Creek was supposed to be.
Yeah, it is kind of uncomfortable.
So, I also think it's funny that they mention Dawson and say Dawson would love this. I've never seen Dawson's Creek, but I just think that's funny. And then we get the Gonzos coming to town.
His species.
What do you think about that?
I think it's cute, but I'm a big fan of the whole not knowing what Gonzo is spiel. I'm a big fan of him being a whatever and never knowing.
Yeah.
So them bringing in aliens and being like, he's an alien, I'm kind of like, that kind of kills it.
Yeah, it's like the thing where there's certain questions you want the answer to. And there's certain questions that the whole point of it is that you don't need to know the answer.
Yeah. And it's cute, and I like the scene and everything. The big dance party is so fun, but I'm like,
it's the only. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. But it's a fun musical number. It's fun seeing all the different variations of his species. It's fun seeing Jerry Nelson as the Grandmaster Gonzo or whatever. It's fun seeing him get shot up in the space. That's all fun.
Yeah,
but I don't know what it is, but I don't know. And then Jeffrey Tambor comes back, and they make all the he makes all the Gonzos laugh. And also, I'm sorry, I'm skipping back. When the thing comes, and it's first a little egg, and then you get the great line when it's actually coming down. Rizzo goes, I never spoke bad about my mother, and I never carried the plague, not even once.
That is such a good line.
I posted the image of that yesterday.
And I never carried the plague.
I never carried the plague. And so then Jeffrey Tambor becomes the ambassador to space. That's when we get the weird Star Trek music in the background, which caught me so off guard when I was last night. And then Gonzo says all of his goodbyes.
There is something about scenes where Kermit's comforting the other Muppets and either saying goodbye or giving them a heartfelt speech where I just cry every time.
I think the best scene in all of Muppet stuff, and call me out if I'm wrong, is season 4 episode whatever of the Muppet Show with Lola Falana, where Gonzo is going to go away to Bollywood.
Yes.
Halfway through the episode, it's Gonzo's last performance, and he performs My Way.
Yeah.
Sinatra, and Kermit comes out on stage because Gonzo starts to cry, and it's just the most.
It's such a beautiful scene.
I think it's there's funnier stuff out there, obviously, but I think it's the most heartfelt and the most sincere the Muppets ever got and ever will get.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's stuff that comes close. This scene, obviously, the end of Muppets 2011 and the end of the Muppet movie and all that kind of stuff. But like that scene is so.
Yeah, like there's something about Kermit comforting them that just makes my heart swell.
Kermit's just such. Kermit can be a jerk sometimes, and I
Oh,
think
for sure, yeah.
more modern pieces of Muppet media have forgotten. But
yeah,
when he's sincere, Kermit can be really sincere, and it's actually really sweet to see.
For sure.
But of course, Gonzo ends up staying. He wouldn't leave. Imagine if he did, and this was the last we ever saw of him.
I would have sued. No, I'm just kidding. I would have been very upset.
It's like Gonzo is a character I am quite worried about for the future.
Really?
And it's not his portrayal as like a character format. He is handled really well in Muppets Haunted Mansion. I think that's a great Gonzo story.
I was very glad he was the main character in that.
And I love Muppets Haunted Mansion. I hope we get to cover it someday because it is a great. I think come Halloween it'll be a Halloween shortlist, which is like 4 items long. So it'll be like that. The one Sesame Street Halloween special they produced, and then Alice Cooper, Vincent Price episodes of the Muppet Show, and that'll be it.
Oh, yes.
But anyway, back to Gonzo. Like, he has been really well portrayed. He's great in Muppets 2011 and Muppets Was One and the Muppets 2015 series. They have stuck more true to his character than anybody else. Like, Fozzie's changed. Piggy's changed. Kermit's changed. They've gotten less complicated where Gonzo has stayed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm worried... No, you go.
No, I was just going to say that partly, I think, is due to Dave and how wonderful Dave is as the character and how much you can tell he just adores playing Gonzo.
And I love Dave so much. So much so, we all love Dave that he is being inducted into a Hall of Fame on Saturday.
Amen.
That's how much this community loves Dave. Dave's in his 70s.
I know, I think about that sometimes, but I can't think about it for too long because I get really sad because I'm like, no.
No. I'm not saying he's going to live for another 30 years.
Amen.
Let's just say that.
Manifest.
He will live for a very long time still. And I'm not even just saying that.
But it's true,
but that doesn't mean he's going to perform for that long. Even if he...
Yes.
You know, I don't want to say that, but like he's probably, before he does the other thing, he is hopefully going to retire because he deserves some rest.
True, yeah.
I know he's had dozens of surgeries on his arm over the years. I know he's getting up there. His body, you know, he's an old man. I'm not trying to be sad about it or anything, but
no, you're not wrong.
And I'm just worried that I don't know what they're going to do.
I hope he has an apprentice or something that we don't know about.
I hope, but like last time they tried to do that, we don't need to get in the
I know. I thought about the word I just said and I was like, ooh.
It's like last time Disney tried to get apprentices for characters, several people got blacklisted in the industry.
Yeah. Or at least someone that works with them is like working on a Gonzo.
I hope so. Because like that's the thing Sesame Street has done right. Like when Carol was getting up there, even in the 90s, like, you know, Matt Vogel and Eric Jacobson had like helped with performing. Or I honestly think what's going to probably happen is Dave will do what eventually I think Dave will get to the point where he does what he did on Fraggle Rock back to the Fraggle Rock reboot.
Yeah, where he just does the vocals.
For all we know, that's like what he's going to start doing with Muppets very soon.
Yeah.
And I'd be okay with that. I think that's a middle ground, and you get somebody to do Gonzo's actual movements for a while, and then I don't know, because
it works. Yeah, Frank did that for this movie too.
I meant to bring that up too, because Peter. Fun fact: I think I listened to this on Below the Frame. They left some of Peter's temp dialogue in the trailer.
Yes, I read that.
Which is just the funniest thing to me. That there is Peter Miss Piggy dialogue. Peter did some of it, and I believe Kevin Clash also worked on some of the. Which is weird that they would get Kevin to do it, because he just did Elmo the Grouchland.
I know. Kevin was like nonstop working at that time.
At that time. Anyway. And so, Yeah, I'm just worried about Gonzo in the future. I hope that when Dave retires, they don't just retire the character.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think he's too popular. I think he's too loved, and I think people would miss him too much. And I know a lot of people are probably like, well, they're doing that to Rizzo, but it's like, yeah, but that's a whole situation. Like we said, we won't get into that, but
Right, and well, they're slowly bringing Rizzo back. Like, he was on the Baby series, and he's in name only in Muppets Haunted Mansion.
mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they try to recast him.
Yeah,
But
no, me too. I can see them eventually doing it. I just feel like at the moment they're probably like, we're not sure who we want to recast as
honestly,
him.
we're going to get a waiting period when Dave eventually, if Dave ever retires.
Yeah.
We're just like, we didn't see Ralph in this movie, or Rolf in this movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But anyway, back to the movie real quick. We love you, Dave, if you're listening, which I know you're
love
not.
You so much.
We love you, Dave. Then they all go back to the roof house. And
yes.
Gonzo says the immortal line, there's just one more thing I want to know. Why did they have me build the jacuzzi?
Yes! That's the best way to end it.
And
such a genius line.
So, I'm going to ask you the question in a minute, but first, one more thing I want to talk about before we wrap up the movie.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the lack of musical numbers in this film?
I'm glad you asked that, because I was thinking about that earlier. I thought...
save it for its own discussion at the end. I didn't want to, bring it up halfway through.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, it's kind of like what I said earlier about the movie as a whole. It was an interesting direction to go. I thought it was a bold decision because they're so known for their music. The Muppets are so known for having their original songs and all the movies and everything. So to not have them do original music in this one was an interesting choice. I like the soundtrack, and I think the music fit the vibe of the movie very well.
I do. I like the 70s. So my two things about the music for me.
Yeah.
One, there's an album that was released in 2002 called Music Mayhem and More, the Muppet Show 25th Anniversary Collection.
Yes.
And it includes a whole bunch of songs from the Muppet Show. It also includes 3 songs from Muppet Movie, Take Manhattan, and Muppet Caper, and 1 song from the 3 90s movies.
Mm-hmm.
And from Muppets from Space, it includes this weird end credit remix of I'm Going to Go Back There Someday.
Yes. And it's like, oh.
I just think that shows you how weird it is that this movie doesn't have music. And I do like Celebration, which is the one real musical number.
True, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I like Brick House and When You Wish Upon a Star and Get Up Off of That Thing. I like those songs.
Yeah, and I think they fit the vibe of the movie well, but I still think it would have... I think the movie would have had a little more oomph to it. I don't know how to word it, but a little more Muppet feel if it had been original music. And they could have come up with some funny songs.
My theory, part of the reason I think, maybe not the reason they chose to go on music with this movie, but my theory is why they chose this music specifically is that there's a thing in pop culture known as the nostalgia cycle.
Oh, absolutely.
And a nostalgia cycle goes 20 years. And so this was the perfect time where people would have had nostalgia for the original Muppet Show.
Yes.
And another thing people would have had nostalgia for at the same time was 70s funk and disco.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I think they chose this as the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Plus, too, a lot of the puppeteers are from that era. So they were like, yeah!
I can picture Jerry listening to this stuff.
That's what I'm saying. I just know that was what they were blasting.
Because Jerry once said that he was something lost. He was a hippie through and through, and I think it was maybe heavy metal that lost him on rock and roll or something. That's where I forget the quote, but I don't know. The music thing is just so weird. Because the other thing, this movie's sister film, Elmo and Grouchland, does have original songs, which is even weirder.
Yeah, I feel like with Sesame Street, though, there's more of a you have to have songs kind of vibe with them.
That movie, I hope we talk about that sometime. I got to say about that movie.
And even at this time, people probably felt like, oh, it's the Muppets. You have to have songs. But I guess, like I said, they decided to go with the bold decision of not doing original songs.
I think some of the most divisive Muppet projects are the ones without songs.
True.
Because you think about it, the Muppets 2015 series doesn't have music in it.
Yeah.
It's divisive. Muppets Now, there's not even an opening theme song to that one.
That's true, yeah.
So I feel like I don't want to shoehorn music into this movie, but I feel like I don't know. I'd love to see the alternate reality version of this movie with music.
I think even if it was only just 3, they could have come up with some really cute, funny songs for this movie.
Do like an opening number song in the Muppet House.
Exactly, yeah.
An I Want song for Gonzo.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of rat song and keep Celebration, and you're perfect.
Amen. Yeah, perfect. We just made a movie.
We just maybe throw in an extra song for Piggy or something, and you have a movie.
Exactly. Kind of like Me Party vibes.
Yeah, me Party, but about how she just got the story.
Yep, exactly.
Perfect. You got your soundtrack right there.
Boom. Get Disney and the Henson Company on the phone. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Pitching songs for a 22-year-old movie. Great. All right, before we wrap it up, any last thoughts on Muppets from Space or anything we haven't talked about that you want to?
We pretty much covered everything I wanted to say. I mean, the last thing I was going to talk about was the music. You read my mind there.
Read your mind. No, I think this final statement, time to introduce this podcast review scores. We're going to be out of 5 Kermits. So you can go all the way down to 0.5 Kermit, which is, let's just say, what's a universally hated Muppet thing? That is
Waldo. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa! We did not have time to unpack that.
Oops.
Let's go with 0.5 is the unaired Little Mermaid Island pilot, because I referenced that earlier, and 5 out of 5 Kermit stars is the concept of Frank Oz. Like, that's something that
I can't. I'm sorry. The concept of Frank Oz.
Not the man, but the concept.
No, that's a podcast.
All right, oh man, I should have named. You know what? No, I quick side tangent.
Yes.
I want to interact with Muppet performers. I love that. I love that some of them are on Twitter. I've been retweeted by Louise Gold before. I've seen Matt Vogel around, and it's cool to see them, right?
Yeah, and they're very interactive with the fan base as well. Right. I've had a bunch of them interact with me too.
Right, it's cool. Frank scares me.
Frank scares me too, but in a great way. I'm like, I admire you so much that I'm scared.
I've tagged Matt Vogel in things before. I've never tagged Frank in anything, and
Frank liked my birthday tweet to him on my personal account on his birthday, and I was screaming.
That is, yeah, but I don't know.
I was like, "Don't look at my account." No, I'm just kidding.
The whole different tangent. When he liked the MILF tweet, we all freaked out.
That was a wild night on Muppets Twitter.
That was 2 days after the awards?
Yeah, and we were all like, wait.
And
abort. We were all like, he's seen it. Pack it in. We're done.
Mary was so freaked.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mary and B, Sweetums made it. Sweetums Muppet made that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole thing. But, so, back to... This is fun. So what would you give Muppets from Space out of 5 Kermits?
Personally, I would probably give it 4, because I still really like it. It's just a couple of small detail things where I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 3.5. I'm going to...
I get that, yeah. I almost said that.
It is... There are parts of it that I think are really funny. Stuff and just a whole bunch of stuff, but there's also parts of it that feel empty, and it feels a little weirder than other Muppet movies. and some of
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
poorly. And I almost think that the Muppet House thing, which I want to touch on real quick,
Mhm.
I almost feel like that would work better as a TV show than as one single movie.
That is a good idea.
Like, do the Muppet House, have all these different characters, and have, like, this episode being about this characters and this problems, but have all the other Muppets in the background. Like, you have a perfect setting, and it feels so wasted on this one movie, because it's not even in the movie all that much.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity. But I also feel like there's a lot of really good humor. I think the plot of this movie, I don't really love all that much, but the jokes and the comedy bits that happen because of that plot are great. So I think that evens out to a 3.5.
Yeah.
So anything you want to plug?
Anything I want to plug? Ooh, well, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, just shout out to all my mutuals on Twitter on Princess Muppet. For those of you who are interested, my actual name is Amy. Hi.
And I asked, but I was like, I'm Tori, by the way. I should have said that at the beginning.
We forgot to say our names. We're going by our Muppet secret identities.
Our Muppet secret. It's not Tori. It's at the Muppets. No.
But yeah, like shout out to all my mutuals for putting up with me and my Muppet craziness and my love for Jim tweets. I'll just say that much. And and it's actually the anniversary of my Princess Muppet account tomorrow. So
This is. I did not plan that.
I know I didn't even realize that until the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, Princess Muppet's turning 1.
I just reached my 1 year back in earlier this month. That's actually what this podcast is kind of the kicking off of.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Year 2. I think I just one more time. Well, first off, I want to plug the rest of this podcast. We already have one episode up. It is a hour-long interview with Muppet fan artist and Muppet winner. Sorry, Emily Engel, who is, and just like Amy here, an absolute delight. I've just had some of the best guests on this podcast. Also, this Saturday, 8 p.m., if you're listening to this live, is the Muppet Twitter Awards. Nope.
Scratch that.
Scratch that. That'll be in January of 2023.
And everyone vote for me this time. No, I'm just kidding.
The committee is meeting on whether or not make Princess Muppet eligible or anything. No, the Muppet Fan Hall of Fame.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. It's live this Saturday at 8 p.m. EST. If anybody is listening live or recording and would like to be a part of the Hall of Fame by helping present some of the Hall of Famers and induct them, please reach out to me. I don't have as many people inducting people as I would like. I'm doing a lot of the bulk of the work myself, and I would like a little leeway. So if anybody listening right now, just DM me if you're listening to this before the Hall of Fame, which again is 8 p.m. this Saturday, April 29th, April 30th. What's the date on Saturday?
Saturday, I think, is the 30th.
Okay.
Time's an illusion, you know.
Wait, have I been saying April 29th this whole time?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the Saturday's the 30th.
Okay, no, I've been saying the 30th. This Saturday, April 30th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're available and want to help out with the awards, DM me. If not, please come. I know a lot of people can't make it. Like, I know you can't make it, and so
I'm gonna try and see if I can make it, but yeah, at the moment I can't.
Even if you can't, I'm sure you'll listen later.
Absolutely, I will.
There will also be, for anybody interested in listening live, there will also be an after party on Spaces for that.
I might be able to make that
because it'll be on Google. And it will be recorded. Don't worry. Yeah, it will be on Google Meet, the actual Hall of Fame. That way we can see people's faces.
No, I'm just kidding.
But so yeah, the Hall of Fame. Listen back to the Muppet Twitter Awards. You can hear Amy present an award.
That's true. When I had my technical difficulties, good times.
Yeah, but you didn't have as many technical difficulties as Justin from Muppet Profiles.
Yeah, you're right.
Love Justin and Carrie. That wasn't a call, but there were some bad technical difficulties.
That was a great night, though. You did such a good job.
Oh, that's what I should plug. I was recently on an episode of Muppet Profiles.
There you go.
That's what I should plug. Me and the amazing, wonderful, two of the sweetest people I've ever met on Muppets Twitter, Justin and Carrie Previs. I think Priebus is Carrie's last name. You know what? That doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. I'm stumbling. They had me on and we talked about Cookie Monster for an hour and it was great. I actually have speaking of technical difficulties, I had some really bad technical difficulties.
Oh no.
Like, I cut out multiple times.
Oh dang. Don't you just love technology?
Yes, I do. But to listen to that, please follow Princess on Twitter.
Yes, at Princess Muppet.
Are you on any other socials you want to plug?
I created a Muppets like TikTok recently. It's just Princess Muppet Twit TWT. I haven't used it in a while, but like I want to keep making more Muppet videos on there, so feel free to follow me on there as well. And follow me on my personal account if you want. It's in my bio on Princess Muppet.
All right. So, anything else to say?
Just thank you for having me. I'm like so honored you asked me to do this.
Thank you. You will be asked back. I know that.
Oh, yay.
This was fun. Hopefully next time we'll get something. I don't know what's weirder than Muppets from Space, but
I know.
Alrighty, so theme song ending playlist. Play us out.